levels, that's a billy, 1,000 milli. First one to see a B out these housing buildings. I be feeling like Prince in 84, Mike in 79, Biggie in 97, 94, Nas, Ali, Kumbaya. No Kumbaya, just give me the sommelier. I'm on the top, helmet on a jet ski. You know the vibes hit my head, forget I'm me. Oh my God, without the God and the XY, I'm afraid the whole game will be colonized. The marathon will be televised for NIP. The true kings don't die, we multiply. Peace.
I'm so unbothered. Y'all be so pressed while I'm raising daughters, sons of empires. Y'all make me chuckle, stay in your struggle. Crystal blue water, pina colada in. You stay Ramada in. My baby father, bloodline Rwanda. Why would you try me? Why would you bother? I am Beyonce, Giselle knows Carter. I am the Nala, sister Naruba. I'm going back to the south. I'm going back, when my roots ain't watered down. Growing like a baobab tree of life on fertile ground. My ancestor put me on game, on charm, on gold chains. With my old shoe energy. Drip all on me. Uncle da she keep it. Hola, Jonas, smell like such a non-chopper instant. Yeah, pure ice.
Hey, happy birthday. Happy birthday.
On my wrist.
We gotta play some birthday music. Happy birthday today. Alright. I'm gonna start walking through pretty well.
I can't forget my history is her story.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
It's your birthday. We gon' party like it's your birthday. We gon' sip Bacardi like it's your birthday. And you know we don't give up, cause that's your birthday. You can find me in the club, bottle full of bub. Mama, I got what you need if you need to feel a buzz. I'm into having sex, I ain't into making love. So come give me a hug, you into getting rough. You can find me in the club, bottle full of bub. Mama, I got what you need if you need to feel a buzz. I'm into having sex, I ain't into making love. So come give me a hug, you into getting rough. When I pull up out front, you see the Benz on dub. When I roll 20 deep, it's always drama in the club. Now that I roll the drain, everybody show me love. When you sell like them and them, you get plenty of groupie love. Really ain't nothing changed, roll down, G's up. I see exhibit in the cutting, man, rollin' up. If you watch how I move, you mistake before I play up here. Been hit with a few, but I don't walk with a limp. In the hood, in the lady saying 50, you hot. They like me, I want them to love me like they love pop. But holla in New York, for sure, to tell you I'm local. When the plan is to beat the rap game in the choke. I'm full of focus, man. My money on my mind, got a meal out the deal, and I'm still in the grind. Now shorty says she feeling my style, she feeling my flow. A girl from Wooded, they buy and they ready to go. I'm here at the club, bottle full of bub. Mama, I got what you need if you need to feel a buzz. I'm into having sex, I ain't into making love. So come give me a hug, if you're into getting rough. You can find me in the
new iPhone now. This one I better do with the jabata. Me, I no get time, I did da. Dada cover my face, calling me like bada. Biggie man, we know they wear abada. Tell me, my nigga, what's it gon' be? G-Wagon, all depend. The girl them, ride the boat. I no fit, die for nothing. My nigga, what's it gon' be? G-Wagon, all depend. The girl them, ride the boat. I no fit, die for nothing. Make you no say anything when you do, they must commend it. I can't come and keep myself. So anything when they do, I they try to do on my way. I can't come and keep myself. Plenty so far we face. Just to make sure money day. But my people can go say I know one buy, I know one die, I know.
always in the lead. Who you wanna be? I'm who they wanna be. B-E-A-U-T-Y-E. Never seen so much rage from a queen. Rage from a queen. Queen so strong, thought she was a machine. Girl of your dreams, Sinclair regime. Turn to the max, can't forget Maxine. Refer to me as a goddess, I'm tired of being modest. 100 degrees the hottest. If we're being honest, ebony anybody's. Black people win, they say we being demonic. Angel in disguise, I hate I have to disguise it. Why you gotta despise it? Rich in the mind, that's why I'm making deposit. Give me all the power, it's time to realize it. Don't know, good take my power, my power, my power. Don't know, good take my power, my power, my power. They feel away. Oh wow.
They will not forgive you if you turn the song off, Rico. You turn the song off.
Look, what's the Jamaican? Different style, different fashion. You know?
Let's go.
Tell me, say one thing, Nancy can't understand. One thing, Nancy can't understand. What make them a talk about me ambition? Say what make them a talk about me ambition? Come and say some of them a ask me when me get it from. Some of them a ask me when me get it from. I told them no, it's from creation. I told them no, it's from creation. Bam bam, hey what a bam bam.
Yo, Teresa, get your flag. Everybody immediately go to your flag. Your flag. Rico. Rhythm, Rico.
I'm fucked up, homie, you fucked up. But if God got us, then we gon' be alright.
Nigga, we gon' be alright. Nigga, we gon' be alright. We gon' be alright. Do you hear me? Do you feel me? We gon' be alright. Nigga, we gon' be alright.
I'm all the flag.
We gon' be alright. Nigga, we gon' be alright. Do you hear me? Do you feel me? We gon' be alright.
And when I wake up, I recognize you looking at me for the pay cut. Bahamas, I be looking at you from the face down. One Mac 11, even boom.
One more label try to stop me. It's gonna be some dreadhead niggas in your lobby. You don't want no problem with me. You don't want no problem with me.
You in the show right now, Teresa.
To pick up on the man.
They gon' try to
run through the streets, they be like, hey, go. You don't want no problem with me. You don't want no problem. If I tell you, say I love you, oh. My money, my body, now your own, oh baby.
That makes some people feeling nice.
30 billion for the account,
oh. Music right now.
Versace and Gucci for your body, oh baby.
You know this part.
No do, gotta for me.
Rhythm, Rico.
No do.
Sing the words if you know it. If you don't, just make the sound. Everybody status. I know. All right. Get all the deputies and spirits out your house right now. We're cleaning for all deputies and spirits right now. Good, run out of your music right now. Right? We have a jumping problem. We're gonna touch on that. If you like me, I'll look at salsa, put his shoulders up.
Santo Dios.
Yeah. Carlos said he knew you really coming from Texas.
Santo fuerte, santo inmortal.
I love this music.
Rico, you want to do it for Trinidad real quick? You want to do it for Trinidad real quick? I see a couple of Trinidadians with the face like, is he going to really come to Trinidad? Tasha, she definitely represents Trinidad. Rico, do it for Trinidad one time. Trinidad one time.
King. Marshall. When we roll, we don't roll alone. Anywhere that we go, you feel I'm moving everywhere with me. Family,
All right. Out of control. Rico, you're out of control. Rico, you're out of control.
You're too much. You're out of line, and I love it.
Out of control, out of line. Listen, put
No, what you talking about?
Sign. Clap it up, thumbs up for Rico, our DJ, Rico Frederick, please, everybody, please. You know, you do the clap sign for him too. Yeah, Rico Frederick's our DJ. Shout out to Rico. Shout out to New Yorican for letting us do this digitally on their platform. And yo, shout out to everybody who showed up and who pulled up, who came and came out to rock with us tonight. We have some amazing poets and writers, and I can't wait to get started. So listen, we got our first poet. If you're ready, put the clap sign up, or put the clap sign if you're ready to hear this first poet. And everybody, make sure your mic is muted. That way, when the poets are rocking, we don't hear your relatives calling you to come do dishes or something in there. Yeah. So, all right. So, our first reader, you heard him DJing. He has flags on deck. Not quite as many flags as I, because I'm well prepared. But where's the lie? We never tell no lie on you, Rico. All right. He's going to share a poem with you tonight. If you're ready, put your clap signs up. We got Rico Frederick, please, everybody.
All right, I'm gonna do this one. Some of you may have heard it before, but I'm gonna do it again. I gotta say one thing before I start though. Big ups to Mahogany and Jive, because I was thinking of tonight's show and realized that a year ago to the date, I think, I was packing my bags to go to Antigua. We was gonna fly out and do a big fete in Antigua. And I gotta give them mad props, mad love for supporting poets, having us go all over the world. Now that we can't go nowhere, I recognize how much of an honor and a privilege it is to be family, friend, and folk to poets who want to tell the truth all over the world. So big ups to the movement, which is Jive and Mo. Stimulive, we ready. Dedicated to one of my favorite artists, Aretha Franklin. And it goes, and if you want to sing along, don't have the voice for this, but you make me feel like a natural. Who cut you, Aretha? Made you bleed like that? Slick molasses vinyl? Lady, cross your legs, cause your superpower showing. Heaven, your mouth a halo. Got a crowd of sweat growing on my forehead. When did you realize fish cooks better with a woman's tears in it? What about us folk make you want to set an extra dinner plate for glory? How a soul woman croon can take a spoonful of pain from up out the left rib. Because some love is good love, but self-love is true love. And somewhere in the world, another little boy on his tippy toes is dancing on the rooftop of his mama's shoes, his brown face buried in the swoon of her stomach and swaying. Thank you, y'all.
Clap it up.
I cannot wait to hear the rest of the readers tonight. I'm super excited.
Thank you.
Some of my favorite poets in the room right now.
Rico, thank you, good sir. Thank you. Yo, listen, we have some amazing. I feel like I say that every time, but the thing is, truthfully, I book the poets that I like. I book the writers that I like. So I'll be like, yo, they're gonna be dope. Why? I booked them. That's how it works. That's how it works. So look, you ready for your first writer? Let me see you put the clap sign or something to do your hands. You can jazz hands it up. You know what I mean? And we're gonna have Theo LeGros gonna rock some pieces for you, please, everybody. If you're ready for Theo.
Hi, y'all. Sorry, I was unmuting myself. Thank you so much, Jive, for asking me to do this, and it's really nice to be here with you all. Okay, I got two poems. They're both new. Okay. Unsent letters to my mother. 1. Now that I'm finally getting older, I have half your nose, your bowstring mouth, your goddamn when you drop something, your skipped articles sometimes when I think in a language I can't speak. Time is a tar pit. Uncut mineral I'm trapped inside. I'm nothing but a bladder full of cheap red wine. A stomach. A hummingbird with nowhere to land. 2. Is this my memory or yours? Helicopter blades beheading the rubber canopy. Latex leaching from trees like unspent milk. A road coiled around a mountain like a serpent's tongue. Mosquito net Christmas, your jade backhand when I told you I didn't believe in God. The smell of your sweat as your hand lifted, rising like mercury. 3. Every week we go to the Popeyes and Falls Church after the cemetery to split a family combo. Rest a wing on a napkin for Dad, next to a styrofoam cup of mashed potatoes with gravy and a biscuit we share after we finish our meal. I don't know what your favorite food is, or what I'm more afraid of, that I might outlive you, or you me. 4. You ask me about heaven like you're asking for directions. Is it up in the sky? Is that where your Father is? What makes you think I know anything about heaven? You ask me if I ever miss my old mom, and you're talking about yourself. I tell you I do, which isn't true. The truth is, I never slept a deeper sleep than in your bed, half drunk, under a Virginia sky fanged with stars. Okay. One more, although new, called Legacy. Every sin I've committed, every corresponding penance, every unwashed animal of the heart I feed my dinner, walks past the churches with me. I want to say love can be ugly without having to explain, but what I mean is I don't understand why everything needs to be beautiful. The possum living under the deck while my father was dying had milky red eyes and whiskers matted with cat food, its pointed little nose as pink as a burn. It kept me company while I smoked in the dark by the broken back porch light smeared with dead gnats and torn moth wings. I don't know if I love anything without fear to give it proportion or shame to give it shape, guilt to give it shelter. My father asked for death before he asked for forgiveness, while I stirred institutional ice cream into his cup of Ensure, because the only way he could keep it down is if he pretended it was a milkshake, and we pretended it would make a difference.
Give it up for Theo, please, everybody. Give it up for Theo. Theo, what's that line you said? My father asked for death before he asked for, how did the line go?
It's my father asked for death before he asked for forgiveness.
Let me write that down and steal that later.
All yours.
I know I'm gonna have to copyright infringe that line. It's slick. Listen, one more time for Theo. And look, everybody, please, if you hear anything you like, you communicate in the chat box or chat window. The poets can go back and see your responses later. Unlike in real time when you're just screaming at the winner on stage, you can communicate directly and they can go back and read what you've said about them. And also, poets, make sure you put your social medias in this chat box so people can stay in touch with you. Hey, listen, one more time for Theo LeGros, please, everybody. All right. Next up, we have Red Freedom. Red Freedom, are you ready? Is your microphone on?
Yes, it is. Hello.
Hello, Red Freedom. All right.
So this poem I actually wrote in high school. Sorry, this poem I wrote. Sorry. So this poem
Red, what you got two? You got two.
Yeah, I was trying to put both on so I could record me on one, but it's not. I'm technology. Technology and me don't
Come on,
work
Teddy
out.
Riley.
Okay.
I'm back. I'm muting you, Chanel. I'm muting you. You can't be calling her Teddy Riley in front of all these people. Don't you call her Teddy Riley in front of all
I
these
am
people.
Teddy too. I am Teddy.
Where's your mute button, Chanel? In front of all of these people. You go ahead and read your poem. Don't worry, the New Eurekan is recording this. Don't listen, people at home watching. Don't do your own stunts. All right, we didn't have a sound check. All right, so look, don't do the sound. Don't Teddy. Hey, look, Teddy changed the face of music. All right, no, Red.
I thought I could do that smoothly. Okay, I won't try anymore.
Everybody is Teddy Riley and you in the okay. Just
okay, well, that was my intro. No,
people watching at home, remember you can always see the replay of this on New Eurekan Dial. Okay, all right.
Okay. Yes, so I wrote this poem in high school. I actually remembered that I wrote it because I was just feeling really down in my spirits, and the only thing that could lift them up was James Brown, I'm Black and I'm Proud. And so I remembered that I wrote this poem in high school called Beautifully Black. So I'm gonna start off with that. I love being Black. It's a beautiful thing. That's why I dance and celebrate being Black and dazzling. When I walk down the street, be sure to hear me sing. Yeah, that's right. I'm a Black human being. Hear me sing the Negro anthem. Let the sun add to my gleam. Yeah, that's right. I'm Black and dazzling. Whether you're light or dark, please make it a sure thing that you shout loud and proud. You're a Black human being. Be excited, be enthused, be proud of being this radiant person, so Black and dazzling. When we walk down the street, doesn't matter what some think. Yes, we are prosperous, beautiful, courageous, Black human beings, Black and beautiful. Yes, that's a sure thing. Are you proud to be beautiful, Black and dazzling? That was my first poem. And the second one is a poem called Dear Future Love. Dear future love, I don't know where you are, but I was told in the law of attraction, thoughts become things. So here I stand in the space of hope, telling the universe everything. I pray with my head tilted up, so I can see when the sun decides to bow to the stars and you become my night. And until then, I'll wait for you in the moonlight in a place where the world seems to be floating in complacency. Your gravity found me, pulls me. I guess sacrifice attracts sacrifice. And when our loneliness ends where our hearts begin, I'll finally get to ask you if you've always known you were my universe. And I'll tell you, Jupiter may be our largest planet, but it is microscopic compared to the choice I made to love you. Some ask me how long I'll wait for you. I remind them it took God 6 days to create the world before he rested. Maybe he rushed through knowing it would take 6 endless eternities to craft our devotion. The way he crafted waters to break and labors to follow and push to out life until it comes out crying and is hydrated by joy. That inner thing only the maker can make one meet. Dear love, God told me to tell you, your suffering is wilderness. Your tears, a Red Sea. Your faith, Moses, needing to part waters of insecurities before you can get to me. This land may be promised, but don't you know you can mess up your own destiny? That's why I plant herbal seeds of patience in the garden of our distance, where waiting wants to be picked, and we can take our time crafting promises that will be kept. And I promise to not grow weary. You see, the trumpets could sound and the heavens could part, And angels could sing new songs of life everlasting, but my actions would still sing old hymns, rooted like a tree, standing in the water. I shall not be moved. Baby, not even paradise could steal me away. I ain't going nowhere without you. I got endurance branded in my heart, so it no longer pumps blood, only vision. And I can see, like me, you're fighting off the world's disbelief, holding on to faith like a mustard seed, knowing somewhere with pupils crafted out of hope, you can see our bodies unite so that mountains can be moved. Baby, even Judas would know of loyalty if he knew of me and you. Our love is the scripture I've been praying for. They say the universe will give you what you give it. But I feel like I've been giving her my all. Maybe she knows somewhere inside I have more. You have more work to do. And while that may be true, I'm still reaching my hand out to the day you can reach out to. Just hold on a little bit longer, because one day it'll be so nice to meet you. Thank you.
Everybody, one more time for Red Freedom. Red, you said our love is the scripture I've been praying to?
Our love is the scripture I've been praying for.
Hey, look, don't be trying to use that when the quarantine is over on people. Don't when quarantine over, y'all gonna be out at the, let me tell you something. Our love is the scripture I've been praying to. What you drinking? You can't use it that way. That's not how that works at all. And I don't want to hear anybody doing it either. Listen, everybody, give it one more time. Please, everybody.
Thank you.
You in New Rochelle, New York, right?
I am.
New Rochelle, New York. Listen, you got to big up New Rochelle. They was the first touchdown. They was for Corona in New York.
Why you gotta shout us out like that? We were not the first. We were just the first to be heard about. But I'm sure someone else, somewhere else in New York, got it first. We was just the first to get exposure on
I don't think we got Dr. Latasha here. She knows. She's secret agent of finding viruses. I don't know her exact title, but I know she do something like that. All right, she's got a military uniform. All right, look, one more time for Red Freedom, please, everybody. One more time, and make sure you put your social media in the chat window. And anybody who's enjoying these posts, make sure you stay in touch with them or link us, because when our site opens, if you want us to bring these posts to your schools, your community meetings, your group meetings, whatever, we can make that happen too. All right, listen. Are you ready for the next poet? Let me put your hands up, or the clap sign, the thumbs up sign. Listen, we got a poet turned filmmaker, stay poet still, about to rock. Chanel, did I get that right? You didn't even know you was drinking your beverage because you're ready for this thing, all right? Yeah, Chanel Dupree. She's coming from Brooklyn, and I'm not talking about gentrified Brooklyn. She's from Brooklyn, all right? You still get a dollar van in her name. They don't got dollar vans in Brownsville, do they?
In Utica, not Brownsville. But I moved to Utica, amen.
It's close enough. Utica's right around the corner. Listen, everybody, start clapping it up. We have Chanel Dupree.
Hello, you guys. Brownsville never ran, never will. Okay, well, I'm 26, so I'll run right now. But back in the day, I didn't run. I don't have time for that right now. Oh my God, thank you so much for this opportunity. Everybody just sounds so beautiful, and just to be amongst writers and always, Jive, you're always making it a point to highlight Black voices. And that's the work never stops, even when the world has, you never stop. So thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna do two of Jive's favorites, because he booked me or whatever. I'm gonna do two of Jive and Rico's favorites. Yes, Rico, I see it. Okay. Me and Eartha Kitt are sitting on my stoop, drinking whiskey and talking shit. She's telling me about white women calling the CIA for calling out their privilege, and I tell her about their think pieces, about my cornrows, while holding a gun to my head. She throws her head back and laughs, her throat an impeccable bridge. The whiskey slides down. The sun is burning like 1,000 lies. I ask her to teach me how she brought Paris to their knees. She snickers, takes another swig of whiskey. I tell her how I admire her tongue, how she took it from St. Louis to Europe. She compliments my Bantu knots. We slap our knees so hard that the sun is ashamed of the burns we are giving our legs. She tells me America can stand my mouth, so I brought it elsewhere. I stand up and try to perform Santa Baby, but my bones ain't masterpiece enough yet. She laughs harder than a tea kettle with fire on its back. Let me show you what my back in the day body could do. Eartha crawls from the stoop like her bones ain't never failed her before. She becomes a prayer circle, pouring lavender from between her legs, making graffiti on the stoop. I can't move. I can't even speak. I am mesmerized by her toes, how they have minds of their own. Brown bodies shifting, swaying, convulsing, making magic like it's breakfast, and no one is paying attention. Niggas walking past like it's any other day, like they don't know what worship looks like. All of a sudden, 2 white girls walk up to my stoop, iced coffees and groceries in hand, hanging from their arms, and they say to me, "Oh my God, do you know who this is?" Like I don't know. Like they trying to school me on my shit. They don't know Miss Kid like I know Miss Kid. Eartha keeps dancing. She hears nothing but Paris. This is so amazing. We were you for Halloween last year. See, look, they attempt at her moves and her voice. They're trying to impersonate her flesh, but they ain't enough instrument enough for that. All of a sudden, the Black men in my neighborhood are interested. They start surrounding the white girls, still not paying attention to Eartha. They push her out of the way to get a better look at the shiny new unbronzed pennies. How she move her body like that? Yo, white girls is winning. My whole everything is melting to the stoop. All I can do is scream, but I am speechless. Eartha's brown has become ghost and she's still dancing. And then she stops. Her body hits the ground like unsaid apologies, and nobody even notices her Black woman body hit the pavement. And that is the most repeated song and dance. She couldn't even get a moment of silence. Everyone was too busy praising her imposters. Yay. Okay. So this next one is the reason for a lot of things, opened a lot of doors for me. This is dedicated to my grandparents who has since passed. This is dedicated to love and healing. Every night at 8:30 p.m., my grandmother accuses my grandfather of cheating on her. My grandfather is 83 years old. He says to her, "Now how I'm gonna cheat on you when I gotta pee every 5 minutes?" The whole family laughs, chalks it up to one of my grandmother's crazy antics. That was until she swore she saw other women in their house. I don't know if these were hallucinations or flashbacks. 40 years ago, these were true. My grandfather fed all 5 children and left his vows on countless bed sheets. He did what a man was supposed to do back then. Come home afterwards, leave no trace of perfume. But a wife always knows when someone else's sweat is mixed in with their husband's. My grandmother never really got over sharing her husband. 40 years later, these women are still inside of her. She fights every day to get them out. My grandfather calls me in a fearful slur every night. Y'all need to help me. Weeze is going crazy. She's seeing other women in the house. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Before I could answer him, my grandmother's voice burst through the ears like confetti. "You get these women out of my house." "What women, Weeze?" "That bitch by the sofa, sipping my tea like she waiting for supper." Weeze, that's the coffee table. You think I'm stupid? I know those legs anywhere. I watched them walk up and down the supermarket acting like they weren't acting like their legs weren't wrapped around my husband's, passing me grapefruit like she's my equal. Weave, that's the honor board. I know those breast printers. You were buried in them last night. Weave, you going crazy. This ain't crazy, baby. This right here, this is called healing. Now, like I said, you get these women out of my goddamn house. The phone clicks off. My grandmother's voice, usually the sound of fresh cornbread, sounds more like a throat filled with gunpowder. I didn't know resentment could cancer the mind. I want to tell her that I'm scared, that one night, as she's heading downstairs for a drink of water, she sees movement in the dark, mistaken for my grandfather thrusting, grabs the nearest lamp, and just keeps hitting and hitting and hitting until she figures out why she stayed in the first place. I feel she might kill him while he's watering the plants. I want to tell her that I understand, because I know what it's like to hand a plate of my limbs over to a man that has already eaten, to see her in his joints, to know exactly what she likes. I want to ask her how she do it with a family. Put her heartbreak on hold to raise their children. Stitch a smile on her face while her sheets are tangled in sin. During the day, my grandfather destroyed his marriage certificate for swung open legs. At night, he returned to my grandmother with an open and used mouth. Her mouth is now an open barrel ready to fire. Till death do them part.
I feel like I hate saying I told you so, but I did hate it, and I did tell you so. So there's no real conflict here for me, you know. Listen, Chanel, first, thank you very much, and everybody clap it up, clap it up, clap it up.
Always.
Chanel, look, and this is for anybody in the room. If anybody has an ex that they don't particularly happy with right now, me and my boy Rico here, we have recently purchased a van, and we run what's called the Interborough Brick Tour. We will go to their house and break up all of their stuff, and with a picture of your choice on. We'll talk about it later. Just inbox me if you're Interborough Brick Tour. All right, everybody, clap it up one more time for Chanel Dupree, please, everybody. Look, so your next poet. All right, it's very strange. It's like she showed up at the venue one day. We was like, okay, we got a new name. We don't recognize. we didn't recognize a new. All right, she signed up.
Can I tell you how I scared Rico though? So years ago, 6 years ago, I was on a team.
No,
6 years ago, I was on a team, Loud Arts Slam team, and Rico was popping in to help us coach. So it's a week after the new poem deadline, and it's a week and a half before we go to nationals. And I wrote Delusions, and I was like, Rico, I really want you to hear this. I wrote it in like an hour, I believe. And I said it to Rico. He was like, let me hear it since you want to be late writing new poems and stuff. Let me see. And I said it. He went, let's go to nationals. Okay, let's edit that. And I was practicing that jive on the plane. I didn't have it memorized when I got there. I got it memorized when I was at nationals. I did not have it memorized before I got on that plane.
Yo, give it up for Chanel not being scared to do new work, and give it for Rico not scared to tell people to edit their work. Poets need to stop being scared to edit, man. Like, but they be like, yo, it's dope like this. I'd be like, you know, but maybe it's not though. And then if you edit it, it might be. And there you go with Rico. All right, look. One more time for these poets. One more time for Rico too, being a community member. Hala, are you ready, Hala? All right. Hala snuck up on us. She just came in, signed up on the open mic, and then won. Then I brought it to the New York Slam. She won too. Looked her up, started finding all kinds of. I can blow up the spot. Just saw a bunch of awards everywhere. Congratulations, you know.
Thank you.
I can tell she don't care for that too much. So listen, you ready for your next poet? Please start clapping it up. Really bring Hala to the stage.
All right, thank you so much. First of all, thank you, Jive. Thank you, Rico. Thank you, Nuyorican. Thank you, Mahogany. I'm very, very, very grateful to be here today. And I'm also really excited to see everyone again. I have missed the fuck out of this space. and out of these people and out of getting to like have community and just sit in a room and listen to people speak and share their stuff. So I'm very excited to be here. Also, Eid Mubarak to anybody that celebrates. Chanel, feel red, your poems were gorgeous, and I'm really excited to be sharing this space with you. I just have one poem, it's a little bit long, and it is called the PMS poem.
Right on. Hey,
Here's what it is. All right. I am texting Z and Z is texting me back. Who fucking needs grace anyway, she is saying. And I have gone 3 seasons on this gas tank, a not heartbeat in my chest, and I've always loved February best, or Tuesdays, or blue, but nothing braids the dusk like more dusk, like the prickle of a new storm zagging the day in two. I too am alive. Which name? Which name? I break the morning like karate wood, the floor unswept in sawdust. The floor, little nicks I mark like coffins. Which name? Which name? Every time my prophet prays for less, he understands he can take more, so I am no prophet. I am made of shot nerves and ache and precipice, 100 feet in the air, and I am perched at the very edge, and don't I know how to plummet? Don't I know how to God my way to the tender at the center of it all? Which name? In the taxi, I barely notice Brooklyn preening all street lamp bright and dirty outside the windows as I tell Johnny I am failing. First at life and second at grace, because I am zero grace. And he says, come on, says it's just one of those days, says baby. And that word is the lock at the bottom of my stomach. And I am telling him I couldn't even write a goddamn poem today, much less voodoo and umbilical cord out of nothing. And what I don't say is that I stood in that hip bar tonight and spoke with my 2 friends and looked everywhere but up as I said, happy for you, so happy for you. And when my voice broke, I snapped it back into place like a dislocated shoulder, went to the bathroom, into my reflection said, give the joy you want to return. Said generosity is practice, not impulse. Said which name, and when I came out, I joked to the woman waiting for the stall, sometimes you're both the football team and the coach, and she didn't laugh. And what I don't tell Johnny is that this is why people drink, or smoke, or stop eating. It's these exact moments when everything feels as sad as a balloon after everyone's left the party. And even if I do end up getting what I want, won't the pollution of my want be another sort of want? And why do I keep trying to win myself over when I'm actually mediocre company? When I can be cranky and tiresome and meanest of all to the people I love, which must mean I love myself, must mean it when I put my hand over my heart and salute no flag but myself and myself. And the other day, one of my students, she put her hand on my arm and said, you are the person I think of when things are difficult. Said, I hope you know that. Said, I hope you have someone like that. And I looked everywhere but up so I wouldn't cry. And what I wanted to say was I do. To say I have so many someones like you and those like you, and you have no idea how much life you've all given back to me. Like how Miriam says, I love you infinity. And I know what she means is I love you like neither of us will ever die. Or my father tells his youth back to me like a photograph in reverse, or Layad, when she finally came to America, the sun eating the whole backyard whole as we talked about our mothers, about what you have to break to find cure, to find hope, because we were given this one life and then told nothing beyond don't abandon it. Please don't abandon it. And my God, when I say I am tired, do I just mean grateful and with no idea of what to do with it? Do I mean alive and uncomfortable? And look, it is past midnight and there's been no moon for days, and I am happy for them. I am so happy for them, which is just another way of saying I am trying to be better and sometimes it works, which is just another way of saying I am here and it hurts, even the good parts. And Z is right. Fuck grace. What does it matter when you are digging your fingers into chair or bed or dirt, when you are rising like air afterwards, spit on your chin and apologies to the doctor? Grace is panting in the theater. Grace is love that cleaves you from the inside out and nothing comes out. No fresh name, no new sound, just more you, more morning and blue and thunder. And ask Layal, she'll tell you. She'll tell you. She'll tell you how only your grief can show you how you've healed and where and under which name. Thanks.
One more time for Holla, please, everybody. Yo, Holla, you gotta check. Everybody was typing quotes in. Listen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing that, man.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey, no doubt. Make sure you put your social media so we can stay in touch.
I'll put it in.
Follow. They can cop books or whatever they need to do. Yeah. All right. So look, are you ready for your next reader? Everybody clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. Because we got our feature, right? All right. Listen, let me tell you about this feature. But first, let me make sure I exit the full screen here because I got a bio. I got your bio here on my screen here. I can read it. I see you shaking your head. Just don't read it. Don't do it.
You can do it. It's cool.
Because it's got a lot of blue check mark capability. I want to read. Make sure I listen. First off, everybody, we got Idrissa Simmons Nastili, right? She's a poet, essayist, fiction writer, coach, and facilitator. Her work has appeared in Literary Hub, Black Renaissance Noir, James Franco Review, 14 Hills Press, Room Magazine, Adirondack Review, and elsewhere. She has been a recipient of fellowships and residencies from Hedgebrook, Bread Loaf Writers Conference, Poets House, and Vona Voices. She's a 2013 winner of the Crab Creek Review Poetry Prize and the 2014 finalist for the Commonwealth Short Story Award. She's a co-editor of Breakbeat Poets Volume 2, Black Girl Magic by Haymarket. She curates Brunch and Words, a bi-coastal literary salon, and is at work on her first novel. All right, listen. And another thing, let me tell you something. Idrissa, I hit Idrissa. I like Idrissa. I was all scared to send her the message. I'm like, I'm gonna send it at night when she sleep. That way she won't, read it when I'm awake, and then I'll be, she say no. All right. I sent her this message at 1:00. Boom, she's back. I'm with it, right? And then she's like, yo, can I read some fiction? And I'm like, yeah, you can read some fiction. I'm not trying to get haunted by my ancestors. You can't do. Can you imagine ancestors that will haunt me if I totally dream? Look, y'all ready for this? Your feature? Let me hear you. Let me see. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up, clap. Thumbs up sign if you got it. We got Idrissa Simmons Nastili.
Yo, Jay. Of course I wasn't saying no to you. That was like a given. It was done. And thank you for letting me crash the party with fiction. I'm gonna say I'm featuring here very loosely because y'all have just been so phenomenal, and I'm just grateful to have shared space with all of you incredible poets. So I'm gonna read from my novel. I've been working on this for a minute, and the portion I'm gonna read, a little context you need. So from how this call started, how this session started, I think most of the people here know what a duppy is, but a duppy is a ghost. And one of the things that you will see in Caribbean folklore around duppies is rice. If you're trying to distract a ghost, a pile of rice at a doorway will distract them, because they're gonna try to count the grains of rice. So that's relevant for this piece I'm gonna read. And Nadine, the protagonist, her 7-year-old daughter has been missing for a year. Her daughter went missing at Juve in 1 year, and we are now at the next Juve. And she has been having these visitations from a ghost, and she thinks it has something to do with her finding her daughter. So hopefully that's enough context for what I'm gonna read. All right. Before going to sleep, Nadine cleaned. She scrubbed at the black grout in the sink and shower and toilet. She changed the sheets in her bedroom. She took the piles of grocery flyers and old newspapers out into the building's trash bin. And as she moved from room to room with her working hands, her energy seemed to sprout, not abate. She left the rice in Violet's room alone. She lay down in Violet's bed in the same sweatpants and t-shirt she had worn for days. The same clothes she had cleaned in. Finally, she was deflated. She had planned to change, look fresh for her daughter's return. She'll just be happy to see me. It won't matter. I'm the same mother. Nadine hadn't thought it possible to sleep, but she did. She dreamt of Juve. Missan was there at her side with one hand, faithful and steady, on the small of her back. They headed out along the avenue, staying close amidst bodies that numbered in the thousands, singing, banging buckets and old pails, lighting the air with powder and paint. Waves of people moved past Nadine as one long, lumbering animal. A tall, white woman cut through the crowd, maybe 10 rows ahead of her. The woman wore a long white dress with a broad white hat that hid most of her face, but for a familiar glimpse of ear and chin. Nadine smiled in her dream. It was her ghost. She followed her. She moved through the bodies until she was in arm's reach. She almost touched the white hat, and then the woman was gone. Again and again, this happened, the woman always just out of arm's reach. Finally, Nadine strained her fingers and the woman turned to face her. Her face was terrible. Nadine saw red eyes and a gaping mouth dripping with green liquid. She saw her for only a moment, then the woman exploded. The white dress detonated into millions of grains of rice. Nadine woke up and without brushing her teeth, washing her face, or tying up her loose hair, ran up to Missan's apartment. It's only after 2, a bleary-eyed Missan said when she opened the door. Nadine just looked at her. All right, just give me a minute. They could hear the noise from the Juve revelers on the street before they even walked out of the apartment building. Missan wore jean cutoffs and a white tank top that showed her smooth brown skin. She had left her hair tied in a satin scarf, knowing that they would be covered in paint and powder by the time the sun rose. Nadine loved Missan for not even looking twice at what Nadine wore, or even suggesting that she hide her unruly hair. Juve turned Brooklyn into a different beast entirely. The night was even warmer than expected. Nadine looked up and around, half expecting to see that she was inside a snow globe, except instead of snow, it would be trucks draped with Caribbean flags and 7-foot speakers, an ant-sized army of a few thousand decked out in paint and flags and song. Juve, a night for pain and past due bills and cheating boyfriends to be lost for a few hours in miles of sweet, sweet blackness. Nadine had come for the first time with Missan as a teenager on a night where she had convinced her mother to let her sleep over at a friend's. She had felt like a foreigner then and still did now. As usual, Missan had a Jamaican flag and a Grenadian flag tied to the loopholes of her jeans. Nadine never represented Haiti when she came for fear that a real Haitian would approach her and say something in Creole she could not understand. She was feeling something that couldn't be called good, but cousin to it. Missan had a hand on her back, just like in the dream. Nadine was comforted by the weight of it. They stepped into the stream of the crowd and instantly could not hear one another. Nadine scanned every face around her. There she was. Through the sea of skin and sweat and noise, Nadine could see her. The white dress, the mass of hair, the big white hat. The duppy was cutting through the crowd just ahead of Nadine. Nadine touched a hand to the vinyl fanny pack around her waist. Every reveler wore some kind of sack to hold keys, a Metro card, a flask of rum. Nadine's held grains of rice scooped up from her kitchen floor on the way out the door. She let the crowd move her, following her ghost. She could see it gripping the child to its chest. A group next to them began belting out the lyrics for the popular song that year. Each body surged again. Hips, as if in sync, as if hypnotized, instantly began moving to the directives of the song. Nadine didn't know if it was sweat or water that hit her. She was trying not to lose the ghost as the crowd rocked. Missan's hand wasn't on her back anymore. Instead, skin slick with sweat was at the small of Nadine's back, warm hands on her waist. She slapped the hands away and stepped outside their reach. It was a crowd of teenage boys. Ugly bitch, one laughed. Nadine was too focused on not losing sight of the woman to notice or care that the boys had touched her only because they found her hideous. The woman was there. She could almost touch her. Violet. Nadine reached for the ghost, grabbing a handful of its hair. They both went down to the pavement. They landed hard, pain writhing up Nadine's right thigh like electricity. She held on to the ghost with one hand as she pulled the zipper on her fanny pack with the other. Nadine barely noticed the feet tripping over her shoulders and arms. She barely heard someone shrieking her name. Was that Masan? Sound was coming to her as if she was deep beneath the ocean. Too many hands were on her. Nadine shook herself free, pulled rice from the fanny pack, threw it into the duppy's face. Her breath pulled from her in ragged sheets. Nadine saw then that her ghost was crying, not screaming. Please, it said. Please, please. It stopped saying please and began to cuss, as if suddenly remembering something about itself. And there was Masan's face in front of Nadine's, holding tight to her wrist. Nadine, she said, you have to stop. Her voice was iron. Nadine stared at Masan, then down into the face of what she thought was her ghost. There was no child gripped to the woman's arms, just a rolled up flag. She saw now. The mass of hair was too bright and shiny to be anything but a wig. Nadine looked around and only then did she see dozens of other women clad in all white and immense hats. The woman picked up the volume and pace of her swearing. Nadine was still sprawled on top of her. She got up from the ground and turned to walk through the crowd, but police were on her and Masan before she could think. The officers were shouting and red-faced. Two had their clubs out and the others had their hands cocked at their waist, millimeters from where their guns sat. They gripped Nadine with their free hands. Masan attempting to reason with them. You know this woman, her daughter. 1 year since her kidnapping. She's not well, we'll just leave. Saw how primed they were for trouble and how surprised they were to find it in this dowdy-looking middle-aged woman that was gripped in their hands. Rice was leaking from Nadine's fingers as she ignored the chaos around her. She was too caught up to notice, staring at the backs of the women in white hats as they moved further and further away with the current of the crowd. Thank you.
My mic is unmuted. Make sure my mic is unmuted. Hold up, man. Give it up, everybody. Everybody clap it up for Idrissa, please, everybody. Please, please, please. Yo, first off, thank you very much, Idrissa, for sharing that with us. And thank you for being brave enough to share something in this environment that's different than what normally people would bring here, right? We got to always be prepared to challenge boundaries, challenge borders, challenge form, and push these new works into these spaces, right? And we really appreciate you for doing that. Thank you very much, Idrissa. So look, Idrissa, when is the novel? How can we get the novel? Is it coming out soon?
You can get the novel when I finish it. My agent is waiting, so yeah. I'm hoping end of this year it's going to be done. But
that was a mild flex. If you keeping track at home, she said, "My agent." Did you see that? That's a mild flex. But this black woman just said, "Check her agent for that."
Jay, let me tell it. Black women, we gotta flex.
Yo.
Black women gotta own the flex. So.
I am fighting for all sisters to flex at all times. If there's a flex to happen, I'm pointing it out so it can happen again. That's it. That's the way. Look, that is it. That is the way to do it, man. Congratulations on that. Look, how have you been navigating this COVID locked in, depressing time period that we've been going through?
You know, it's so I have babies. I have little people in my life. I have a 6-month-old and a 3-year-old, you know, and that keeps me grounded because to them, like, they're living their best lives right now, especially my 3-year-old. Like, what? Like, both the parents are in the house all the time and I'm surrounded by all this love. So that's helping me stay grounded and connected. And it's like, it's come in waves, you know. What I start saying is just, how am I in this moment versus how am I at some constant state? Because there's been grief, there's been rage. It's not just COVID, it's the ongoing violence against Black bodies. It's everything. It's feeling very far away from family because we live in Oakland now and most of my people are in Brooklyn and Canada. And, you know, we have a small set of found family here. Shout out to those of y'all who are in this call. Love seeing y'all here. But it's hard. So like what makes it easier and sweeter is just like finding those moments of sweetness with family and, you know, returning to center is how I think about it. And my family helps me do that.
Right on. Thank you. Look, so you said you're a mom. Then you said I know that. I said it like I didn't know this. Like I just so you say you're a mom. I hear
you have vacate with us. So.
Yo, vacation with the Simmons Nestilles is a fun vacation. I'm gonna start there. So look. So tell us. Can you, if you feel comfortable, tell us a little bit about like the space where you find yourself being both artist, writer, and mom. How does that balance? How do you navigate those two spaces?
I don't think about balance at all anymore because thinking about balance was just really hard for me because there were times where there would be something that I felt like I should be doing and I wasn't doing it well, you know, like leaning into motherhood or leaning into writing. It just felt like I wasn't holding something that I should be holding. So I think about it as wholeness now. Like, what is the full shape of my life and the things that I need in my life for Idrissa to feel like Idrissa? And that is mothering and taking care of my babies and writing and coaching folks and, you know, working full time, all these things that really matter to me. And I started thinking about it as like, they all complement and fit into one another, right? Like I'm writing about 4 generations of women in one Haitian American family. So much, and I started this book before I was a mother. And so much of what I have experienced now in my parenthood journey now informs the characters. Like I could empathize, I could evoke the experience of what it would be to not know where your child is for a year when I first started writing this. It's an entirely different experience now in having children and really thinking about what that would be on a very personal level. So there is an element of how my subject matter informs my life and how my life informs my subject matter, and both really speak to one another. When I started the book, both of my parents were living. Both of my parents have now passed and are ancestors. So like the grief of that has absolutely informed how I'm thinking about loss and family and connection and things that my characters are grappling with. In some ways, it's like I grew into the story I was trying to tell. I grew into my ambition. And I knew when I first started writing this that the gap between the story I wanted to tell and where I felt like I was as an artist was really intimidating for me. And it's just like year by year, step by step, I feel like I'm moving closer to who I need to be as a creator to do honor to the story I'm trying to tell. I don't even know if I even answered your question, but that was on my heart.
Well, here's the thing with your answer. You answered that question and then my next couple of questions. So that's dope. Sister saving the world again. Look at how it unfolds. Look, Idrissa, I got a question for you. All right. If you had to suggest to us 5 books or 5 writers, and it don't have to be 5, it could be whatever number, but if you had to suggest to us, because I think we as poets and writers don't always get to exchange, like, yo, this is what I'm reading, this might help you. And we can't be scared to like share the works and writings of other writers too. It's not like there's a concrete finite number of books we're allowed to read at one time. We should be able to have. So if there were some books you would suggest to us, what would they be?
So, you know, that question is always impossible for me. So I'm gonna go with the stack.
Okay.
Because there's some like hitters in here that I'm actually reading right now. So always Toni Morrison is.
Wait, stop. You had them on deck right there?
Well, I didn't know that I was going to be asked to share books, but yes, I have a stack of books right here.
She had them on deck. All right. Okay, so I'm sorry. Continue.
Listen, if you stay ready, You don't have to get ready. So Toni Morrison, Song of Solomon.
Yes.
All of her work informs me. Sula is one that I always return to. Of course, Beloved, but anything that she is writing, and for me, it's Toni because she centered Black people with like no interest in whiteness in her fiction. And for me as a writer, that's the North Star I'm driving for. What else I got over here? Okay. So a lot of this is, I'm doing a lot of research right now on Haiti. Part of my novel is set in 1920s, 1930s rural Haiti. So this joint, Love, Anger, Madness, a Haitian Triptych, brilliant book, Marie-Viol Chauvet. It's like 3 novellas in this book that are speaking to like early 20th century Haiti. And there wasn't a lot of women who were publishing and having their work largely read. So this book, in the midst of a lot of men writing about Haiti, is just like brilliant. And it has been something that's been helping me as I've been crafting the story. Des Afis, this book is wild. I haven't begun reading it yet, but it is about a slave plantation, and it is zombies who are yes, those who are enslaved work in the plantation. So it's brilliant. It's a combination of both. It's literary in that it's poetry as well as fiction. So like, you know, opening the book, portions of it are poetry, but yeah. So this is next on the list to read. Natalie Diaz, both of her collections are just like brilliant. What she does as a poet, love Natalie's work. Who else's work would I say that I'm reading right now? Mahogany. If you're not reading Mahogany L. Brown, I don't know what's wrong with you. So please read Mahogany L. Brown, all of it. I don't even know which book to say. The entire collection thus far.
She need a box set. She need a box set.
Is what you need to be reading. Yes, thank you, Christine, who put the information on Des Afis up in there. And this is another one by a Haitian woman writer, Reflections of Loco Miwa. And the artist who wrote this, let me open up and get her name right. Lilas Discaron is who wrote that. So this is another book actually set in the area that I'm writing about in Haiti. So I've been trying to read Haitian women writers. A lot of people know Edwidge, and Roxane Gay, Evie Zaboy, and I'm trying to like really dig into the archives and see who else is out there that has not been widely read and bring that into my repertoire of learning.
Look, I hope everybody got some screenshots of that. We're gonna probably put together a book list and then put it out because that was dope too. All right, so we're gonna listen. Last question. It's an easy question, or maybe it's not. I don't know. It's either or. I got to learn to commit to my question's difficulty level. I don't know. All right, Idrissa. So we know that you're a writer. We know that you're a mom. If I asked you, Idrissa, what are your intersections? Could you tell us? For example, I would be like, my name is Jive, and I'm a family member. My name is Jive. I'm a writer. My name is Jive. I'm a human being. Idrissa, what are your intersections?
My name is Idrissa. I'm a Black girl.
Yes.
My name is Idrissa. I'm Bernadette's daughter. My name is Idrissa. I'm a cook. I'm a holder of space for people. I'm Octavia and Barris's mama, Sasha's partner. I'm a coach. I'm a fashionista, and I get that from my mama. I still claim athlete, even though that's a little rusty these days, but I'm gonna claim it.
All right. What's your sport?
Running. Just like I write while I run mentally. That's where a lot of writing happens. Even though, you know, you might question whether or not I'm an athlete, but I claim it. I'm at heart just a lover of people and community builder.
Right on.
Yeah. What else would I add to the list? I think that's it.
Listen, thank you so much, Idrissa. Thank you for sharing this time with us. Thank you for sharing your art with us. Thank you for sharing all of this with us. We really appreciate it greatly. Make sure you put your contacts. They can find you. They can support, right? Because we need that to happen. Listen, everybody, clap it up or do the hand clap sign for Idrissa, please, everybody. Listen, we're gonna have more of these, right? And if there's any poets you like, yo, I really wish you could reach out to this one, I'll give them a listen. Maybe, you know, and then you know, maybe it can work. But first, thank you to the New Eurekan for allowing us to do this on their platform. Thank you to all of the poets you've heard. We got Rico, our DJ. Give it up for Rico. We have Red Freedom. We have Theo. We have Chanel. We have Holly. We have Idrissa. And we got some poets in the audience. I see you all out there. So Rico, I tell you what, let's run some tunes and we'll play out, and everybody be safe. Thank you so much. My name is Jive Poetic. I'll see you at the next Stimulive, and be safe, everybody. Peace.
She from I don't know. Rock she waist and go low. Pick up the place like a dojo. So what you say, what you say, what you say? Pretty girl, when you come my way. Now what you do, what you do, what you do? I must get through. Girl, roll up now, you show me that wine. Turn around, girl, don't be shy. Hello, 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 friend. Yeah, 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 my friend. Them used to red line, and even when money was low, we were still fine. Cause we used to say that all that we go live big time, big time. So when I step inside, I bet you don't have to ask me who I rolling with, or if I here with my family. If I on the road in Barbados or Miami, or even in Trinidad, you know who with me. I'm here with a friend. Straight till the end, see I red money to spend, so if you know who's a real red trend, pop my bottle, hey, 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 Larry, pop my bottle, hey, 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 pop my bottle, hey, 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 Larry, pop my bottle, hey, 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 hey.
The baddest, them can't tell you nothing, so give them your attitude. Go sick, make them vex it, put them in a check, cause you know you can back it up. Do what you, do what you, do what you, do what you, do what you want. Do what you, do what you, do what you, do what you, do what you want. Come on page, girl, send it back. Balance on it, don't make it drop. You got it, you got it. Walk it up, walk it up. Push up your face, now send it back. Any man where you want, just bubble for them. Them say people man comfortable. Whoa. If a girl want vex, that a fishy problem. Not a thing that have to do with you, girl.
Hey, look trouble now. Hey, he coming down. Say he coming down. Like a. Every day is sweat, I come out to better, fetting more than you. It's sweat, I come out to sweater, wetter, sweating more than you. I come to wine and jam and I short to catch it more than you. Cause when I'm fetting, of course, I just do it like a boss. I'm fetting morning and evening. This is my home and not leaving. I can't get over this feeling. I just want to pay myself. People let me pay a mass. I just want to wind out want bacchanal. Give me the tempo. Hey, hey. If it's bacchanal they want, bacchanal they going get. They want to sing about mash up. They want to talk about mash up. I am the king, I am the monk. Most of all, I am the doctor. Tell them, oh Lord, the whole place mash up, mash up. The whole place one. Oh Lord, the whole place mash up, mash up. Everything shall down. Oh Lord, the whole place mash up, mash up. The whole place one. Oh Lord, the whole place mash up, mash up. Everything shall down. First of all, we not plan for the road march. We not sing out man for the road march. We not beg no one for the road march. Everybody show me a hand for the road march. Yo, when down the things start. Hey, hey, right now the things start. Time to show them now who is in charge. Marshall is the real boss. Everybody jump to the left, 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 to the left. Everybody jump to the right, 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 to the right. Now everybody bounce right there, right there, right there. I am the monk, I am the king. Most of all, I am the doctor. Tell them, oh Lord, the whole place mash up, mash up. The whole place
My girl, come flip it like a flippergram, flip it like a flippergram. Make your bumper flip like a flippergram, flip it like a flippergram, flip it like a flippergram. You left, girl, wind up on my body, girl. Why like it's a carnival? Girl, me love the way you wine for me. Girl, your wine is so emotional. So wind up on my body, girl. Me while you come wine your waistline for me. Baby, you're bubbling, you're bubbling, you're bubbling, baby. Girl, you a party animal. Girl, you active, no, you no lazy. Girl, you a party animal. To own your wine, you drive me crazy. Girl, you a party animal. You wine so good, you just so good. Girl, me love how you party. She take 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot, 4. After 9 minutes, she come back for more. She take off the shoes and pound the dance floor. Then she start to broke out like a sword. Then she approach me just like a cure. Me know that she like me tonight, me a score. She sexy, she beautiful and she pure. Girl, and you me a door, so wind up on my body, girl. Wind us like a carnival. Girl, me love the way you wine for me. Girl, your wine is so emotional. So wind up on my body, girl. Me while you come wine your waistline for me. Baby, you're bubbling, you're bubbling, you're bubbling, baby. Girl, you a party animal. To own your wine, you drive me crazy. Girl, you a party animal.
I'm not leaving, that's impossible to do. Cause if you want me to go, you can be looking the way you do. You can be cooking the way you do. You can be hooking me. If you want me to go, you can be looking the way you do. You can be walking the way you do. Because you're hooking me. Come on. I don't know what to do, so I'm pleading. Plus you ain't giving me no reason. You tell me this the end of we season. Mash up everything, dress so. But you don't understand when you watch me. I said I see that I win the lottery. How you go pick up just so and then dump me? No, baby, no. But you pack on me clothes in a garbage bag. You put it on the ground by the roadside. You tell me get out your place to come inside.